think there might be a little visitor in my minty water. That's okay. It's very refreshing. Thank you for it.
Throw it in the ground.
Yeah, and thank you, dear friends, for joining us today. We want to just talk about conversations we've been having the last couple of weeks. With everything that's happening in the world right now, all the suffering that's going on with the war in Ukraine and everything, it's made us think more deeply just about how impermanent each of us is, how finite our time on earth is.
What's eternal.
How to make the most of the days that we do have. So anyway, hopefully without being too heavy duty, we're going to get into a little bit of that today. Why don't we start with you introducing what we've been doing with some of the youth from our community on Thursday evenings for the last while.
Yeah, we just thought we would invite them over on a Thursday night and sit around the campfire, empty out the fridge, read a great novel or a book, and have a discussion.
And that's a really deprecating way of saying Norann makes amazing stews. You do, and everybody enjoys that.
And we call it Read and Feed,
Yeah.
and it's become a really great initiative to talk and share and read great literature together.
Yeah, and here's some really great insights. You know, the young people feel very free to go at each other and exchange ideas, and that's fun. It keeps us young too. So.
And the book we started with was Thornton Wilder's Bridge of San Luis Rey.
And the reason we picked that book was because Wilder in it is exploring through everyday characters, some really big themes. I'm sure many of our American viewers at least have, as high school seniors, labored through our town.
That is
with
not
apologies.
a labor. I love that
No,
play.
it's a beautiful play, but one of the things that is Thornton Wilder's genius is his ability to convey really big themes, sort of the eternal questions, through everyday characters, and make us think about the fact that in the mundane there is meaning. Hey, wait, we did a video on that.
We did. Well, the pedestrian everyday things are actually the moments that carry the eternal answers.
And in The Bridge of San Luis Rey, if you don't know the book, briefly, it's the story of 5 people who all, spoiler alert, no spoiler alert, fell to their deaths when a rope bridge over a canyon gave way. And so we get taken on the journey of each of their lives. We go backwards and find out more about these people. And what I feel Wilder is saying in the text is that each life has its own eternity wound up in it. There's joys and sorrows, there's loves, there's requited loves and unrequited loves. And there's huge doses of grace and also huge complications that we can never understand. But the thread through all of it is
Love.
love.
Yeah.
Love is the bridge.
Love is the bridge. Love is always the bridge. And it just felt like the right words for right now and the right book to be reading.
So I'm just going to go to the last page of the book, because this is where he kind of puts it all together for us. And this is one of the survivors who lost a loved one, somebody that she thought would carry on her legacy, who would take over the orphanage that she was running and take it to the next level. Instead, this person's now dead, and she's left to carry on her work as best she can, and knows that she'll probably end up in obscurity, right?
Yeah, and just that she's just struggling with that impermanence.
Yeah. But she resolves it like this for all of us. But soon we shall die, and all memory of those 5, the 5 who fell to their deaths, will have left the earth, and we ourselves shall be loved for a while and forgotten. But the love will have been enough. All those impulses of love return to the love that made them. Even memory is not necessary for love. There's a land of the living and a land of the dead, and the bridge is love. The only survival, the only meaning.
Was a bit quiet after that last line around the campfire the other night.
But it wasn't quiet at our friend's house last night. Far from it. And some of those themes came out in our conversation.
Well, we were just with great friends, and we were just realizing that every single one of us around that table, just like every single one of us around the campfire the other night, we're all struggling with the same thing. How do we live right now in a world that is just, the inhumanity to man is just going crazy again, and how we've made it through the pandemic, and now this, and why? And how do we live in meaningful ways? How do we live in eternal ways? How do we live in ways of actual authentic love?
And out of that conversation grew a conversation around goals versus purpose. And it was quite interesting to explore that together, that each of us in our lives needs goals, and those are practical things from parenting goals or family goals to work and everything. But is that our purpose? Is that the ultimate reason why we're on the face of the earth? And how do we find true purpose in life?
And are we identified by what we do or how we are?
Yeah, and so we found ourselves also talking about truth, because for us, we can easily say, I say easily advisedly, but we can easily talk about our faith being our purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Our job on this earth is to love the Lord our God with all our heart, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbors as ourselves. And it's a job we don't do very well.
Yeah, it's work for a lifetime.
But it is our work, right? That's our purpose. But if you don't share that faith, then what? And so we talked about focusing on the things that we do know to be true in our lives, and then building on those. And it kind of feels like that's an important point right now as well.
And for each one of us in that group, just like it was around the campfire the other night, if love is the bridge, which it is, what does that look like in our daily life? How does love become the bridge, especially when the person on the other side of the bridge may not want to join you on that bridge or walk toward you on that bridge? How do we love well in the middle of tension? Or
and I thought you had some interesting observations this week around just being a peace giver in situations where maybe it doesn't feel like it's merited, or people are pushing back away from that, but it's still something you want to do.
Yeah, well, especially in times of war, we feel very helpless. We can't impact government, or we feel like we can't impact government change or impact world decisions. But more difficult, I think, and maybe even more powerful, is to visit that crotchety neighbor, let go of that grudge, offer someone grace where they don't really deserve it.
That grudge thing, and you gave me a look that...
It was a furrowed brow.
All good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, those are the more difficult things to do. And for me, when I'm doing those things that build love and grow love, it actually builds peace in my heart.
Yeah.
If we do and grow and build on the things that are eternal and the things that are of eternal worth, we might not have incredible results and, big outcomes or successes, but it'll build and grow and change things in us as well as hopefully in another person.
Yeah, well said. So friends, my one piece of advice to you this week would be not to go on YouTube and look for old clips of movie scenes from the Bridge of St. Louis Ray. They're really horrible. They did a 1940s production. It was like one camera angle.
But do give it a read, and read it with a friend if you can, or a few people. It was so awesome reading with the youth, because
maybe reading groups.
Yeah, reading groups should come back.
Yeah.
Now that the pandemic is over.
Because also, we all have to rediscover the art of arguing well.
Yes, we've had great, really, really robust discussions and listening to each other, and
Gosh, that's something we all need to be doing better. Bear, you can say hi to our friends.
He's being a bit protective today.
Wave to Jillian.
Yes, wave to Jillian.
So I think we'll leave it there for today. Hopefully there's some encouragement for you in what we've discussed. And thank you, as always, for joining the conversation in the comments. It's much appreciated. Stay safe, stay well. Find that crotchety neighbor.
Yes.
Right?
Offer grace where it's not deserved.
Yep. Be kind to yourselves.
We'll try to do the same.
Yeah.
Talk soon.
Bye-bye. All right, Bear?
Do you hear the cuckoo
Be
birds?
kind to your crotchety neighbor.